All right, today got a simple tight hamstring test. Somebody asked me about this. They said, oh, I can't sit in this position because my back just rounds. Are my hamstrings tight? Are my hip flexors weak? I don't know what to do. How do I fix this? So here's the quick answer. You work on your hip flexors, you work on your hamstrings. You need to make sure you have strength here in a shortened position and you have the ability to lengthen the hamstrings. They need to be strong and long. So here's what you're gonna do first. You're gonna take a light weight, 5-10 pounds. You're gonna take your couch or a bench or a box or a chair. You're gonna put your foot up onto it. You can point your toes. You're gonna hold on to that weight on the same side. You're gonna have your lower back in an arched position, okay? And then you're just going to let the weight start taking you down. Go to wherever your end range is without feeling like you're gonna die or your hamstring is gonna rip or tear. You just go to wherever it can handle. Hang out there for a sec, come back up. Do it again, nice and slow. Get to the farthest you can get, feeling like it's reasonable, it's a good medium challenge. Come back up, do it again. The goal here is not to just relax the hamstrings. The goal is actually to teach the hamstrings how to work against this extra weight in a lengthened position. So we're building strength at length, okay? The goal with everything in flexibility, with your body in general, is to build strength at every length. So we're gonna do this slowly, carefully, 5 times. Okay, you hold it down at the bottom and then back up. Then you're gonna notice, I'm gonna do one last one. I'm gonna hold it for a while. You're gonna notice that as you do this, the hamstrings learn like, hey, maybe this is safe. Your brain learns, hey, maybe this is safe. Maybe we can handle this, especially as you do those contractions and train the muscle to actually work there, okay? So then you're gonna do the other side. So I'm gonna use the couch so you can see it here. Now, also, when you're doing this, you can use a lower height, right? If you feel like, throwing it way up here is impossible, and it should be impossible for you if you're watching this video, then use something lower. Use a stool if you need to. And then same thing on this side, nice and slow and controlled, making sure that you're not just rounding the spine. Okay, you're making the hamstrings deal with this, okay? And then you use the hamstrings to come back up. Slowly down. Really make sure you feel the hamstrings working as they lengthen. It's not just relax, relax, relax. It's about working them and working them on the way back up, okay? And if it feels like it's really too tight to even straighten your knee, that's okay. You can bend your knee. Try it doing the knee a little bent, and that's totally okay too. You're gonna feel the hamstring stretch and the hamstring work a little bit differently with a knee bend, but that's totally okay because, hey, you also need hamstring lengthening with the knee bent. It comes in handy for pretty much any and every sport, okay? So that's okay too. Cool, now we've done that on both sides, okay? Put our weight down. This is foreshadowing. You're gonna be sitting. Since you have stiff hamstrings and weak hip flexors, you can lean back here. You're gonna lift up towards the sky. And then back down, lift up towards the sky. Hold that up there, right? Make sure you feel stuff working here. Good. And then we're gonna go to the other side. On this side, same deal. If you wanna make this really fun and you wanna get a cramp in your foot, point your toes. Make sure you feel your thighs and your hip flexors working. More foreshadowing. Lift it up. As this gets easier, you can start to come forward, right? You can start to sit up straighter and taller as it becomes available and keep working on building that hip flexor strength, okay? If you want to make it even harder, you can go in really tight, right? And you just fold in, and then you're really working the hip flexors at that short position. So strength at the short position on these hip flexors. Now, if you want to make it even more fun, you can do it like this, right? Work on hip flexion strength, shorten hip flexor while you have an ankle weight on there. And then the more weight you put on there, the easier it gets. Just kidding, it gets harder. Okay, so we can do that in whatever position we want. If we want to come forward and do it, that's cool too. We just keep building that strength in the hip flexors to pull up. So what are we doing here? We're building strength in the shortened position on the hip flexors after we built strength and length in the hamstrings there. Okay, so you've got these simple tools that you can use to build your hip mobility by strengthening at every length. Strength at every length. I can't say that enough times. Okay, now in terms of how often you do this, if it were me starting off and I'd never done any of this stuff before, I'd probably want to do this every other day. Do this once or twice a day, like morning and then the evening. I showed you with the hamstring stretch, 5 to 10 repetitions, slow and controlled on each leg. You can do 2 sets. If you have time, I would say go ahead and do the hamstrings, 1 round, go down to the floor, do the hip flexors, 1 round, then do it a whole other round so that you can do the hamstrings and then the hip flexors again. And that's it, you've done 2 sets, and then maybe later that day do it again. If you feel like you can tolerate doing more, then you could try doing it 4 times a week, 5 times a week, but most likely sticking to somewhere around every other day, which will be 3 to 4 times a week, is totally cool. If you're a total beginner, even twice a week is totally cool. You just gotta listen to your body. If it starts getting too sore, it starts being too painful, then cut it, right? Just listen to your body, okay? So again, build strength at every length. Your tight hamstrings, weak hip flexors will thank you if you do this and work to build that length and strength. If you like this video, be sure to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment. Let me know how these exercises feel because I'm really curious how you feel after you do this. And as always, you can head to my website at uprighthealth.com to get a free program. And remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.